My wife was smiling when I handed her the envelope. She thought it was tickets. She even laughed and said, "Please tell me you finally booked that Italy trip." I said, "Open it." She did. And the color drained out of her face so fast I'll never forget it. Her fingers froze on the paper. Across the table, her boyfriend stopped pretending to check his phone. My sister put her wine glass down. My mother stared at me like she'd never seen me before. Inside the envelope were 3 things. A printed screenshot of the hotel booking she made with him. A copy of the transfer she'd been secretly making from our joint account. And divorce papers. That was the moment everyone in that restaurant learned my wife had been cheating on me for 8 months. But by then I was already done grieving. My name's Daniel. I'm 38, and until last year I thought I had a solid life. Nothing flashy, just stable. I owned a small but successful home renovation business. My wife, Vanessa, worked in corporate events and had a talent for making ordinary things look expensive. We'd been married 9 years. No kids, not because we didn't want them, but because we kept saying we'd wait until the timing was right. That's the thing about betrayal. It almost never kicks the door down at first. It walks in quietly, moves a few things around, and waits to see if you notice. Vanessa and I weren't one of those couples always fighting in public. We were the opposite. Functional. Predictable. We had routines. Sunday coffee on the patio. Thursday takeout. One vacation every summer. From the outside, we looked like the kind of couple people assumed would make it. Then little things started shifting. She changed her phone password after years of not having one. She started taking work calls in the hallway. She bought new clothes, which by itself meant nothing, except suddenly it was silk blouses, high heels, perfume I'd never smelled before. She began going to the gym at strange hours, even though she used to complain about late workouts. And whenever I asked if everything was okay, she'd smile too quickly and say, "You're imagining things." That phrase started showing up a lot. You're imagining things. You're being insecure. You always overthink. I wanted to believe her because the alternative was uglier than I was ready for. Then came our anniversary. I took her to a restaurant she loved. Nothing extravagant, just thoughtful. She spent half the dinner with her phone face down beside her plate, lighting up every few minutes. Not once did she let me see the screen. When I asked who kept messaging her, she said, "Work." A client meltdown. Later that night, when she was in the shower, her phone lit up again on the nightstand. I wasn't planning to touch it. I did anyway. The preview on the lock screen was enough. Can't stop thinking about yesterday. Same hotel next Thursday. No name. Just a number. But there was a heart at the end. I remember standing there with the phone in my hand, hearing the shower run, feeling something cold spread through my chest. Not anger yet. Not even heartbreak. Just clarity. Like a blurry picture snapping into focus. I put the phone back exactly where it was and went downstairs. That night, I didn't confront her. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I lay in bed next to her while she slept and stared into the dark until morning. The next day I called a lawyer. Not because I was ready to end my marriage that second. Because I needed to understand what I was dealing with before she knew I knew. The lawyer, a woman named Patricia, listened for 10 minutes and said something that changed everything. Do not react until you have facts. So I got facts. I checked our bank statements more carefully than I ever had before. Vanessa had been moving money in small amounts for months. Nothing dramatic. Just quiet little transfers disguised as event reimbursements and vendor expenses. Not enough to trigger an alert, but enough to build a cushion somewhere else. I hired a private investigator. I hated myself for it, but I did it anyway. Within 6 days I had the truth. His name was Eric, 42. Regional sales director for a luxury hospitality company. Married once, divorced, no kids. Vanessa had met him through a conference contract. The investigator sent me photos. The 2 of them outside a hotel downtown, her hand on his back. The 2 of them at a wine bar on a Tuesday night when she told me she was working late. The 2 of them kissing in his car like teenagers who thought no one in the world could see them. But the photo that stayed with me wasn't even the kiss. It was one where they were laughing. She looked lighter with him. Careless. Like the life we built together was something she'd already stepped out of. That hurt more than the cheating. Then I found out something else. She wasn't planning to leave cleanly. She was planning to leave rich. My accountant helped me trace the missing money. Patricia helped me lock down what I legally could. Quietly, carefully, I moved business assets out of reach, separated accounts, copied tax records, secured property documents, and changed internal authorizations on my company. Vanessa thought because she saw invoices on the kitchen counter, she understood my finances. I didn't. She had no idea how little access she actually had once I stopped leaving doors open. I also learned Eric had no idea Vanessa was still sleeping in my bed every night telling me she loved me. That mattered. Because betrayal is ugly. But arrogance is what makes people careless. Vanessa got careless. 2 weeks after I found the first message, she told me we should host a small family dinner for her promotion. She was glowing when she said it. Just close family, she told me. Something elegant. Elegant. That word almost made me laugh. What she didn't know was that Eric was going to be there later that same night. Not officially. Secretly. The investigator had already confirmed she'd booked him a room at the boutique hotel across from the restaurant. She planned to leave the family dinner early, pretend she had to meet a client, and spend the night with him. On the night we were supposed to be celebrating her promotion. That's when I knew exactly how I was going to do it. I told her I'd handle reservations. I invited everyone she cared about. My parents, her parents, my sister, her older brother, and 2 friends she desperately wanted to impress. I also called Eric. He didn't know me, obviously. I told him I was from the restaurant and there had been a change to the private dining schedule connected to Vanessa's booking. I said there was a surprise portion planned and he needed to arrive 15 minutes early through the side entrance. He bought it. People like Eric always do. Men who date married women tend to think consequences only happen to other people. The night of the dinner, Vanessa looked incredible. Green dress, gold earrings, hair pinned up. She kissed me on the cheek before we left and said, "Thank you for doing this." I almost admired the performance. Dinner started normally. Oh, fine. Her mother cried when Vanessa talked about how supportive I'd been of her career. My sister kept glancing at me because she knew something was off. I told her just enough to make sure someone at the table was watching me, not Vanessa. Vanessa was in perfect control, or thought she was. Then dessert menus came, and she checked her phone under the table. I knew what message she was reading because I had arranged it. I stood up and tapped my glass. "I want to say a few words," I said. Vanessa smiled tightly. "Daniel, you don't have to." "Oh," I said. "I think I do." Everybody went quiet. I started simple. I thanked everyone for coming. I said Vanessa had taught me a lot over the years about timing, presentation, and the importance of details. Few people laughed politely. Then I pulled out the envelope. Vanessa saw it and her expression changed. Not fear yet, just confusion. "I almost brought a gift tonight," I said. Then I realized I already paid for it. Her father frowned. "What does that mean?" I slid the first screenshot across the table. Hotel booking confirmation. Vanessa's email. Eric's name. Silence. Then the bank transfer records. Then the photographs. Her mother made a noise like the air had been punched out of her. My sister covered her mouth. Vanessa looked at me and whispered, "What are you doing?" I leaned forward and said quietly, "Telling the truth before you leave dinner to go sleep with him." That's when Eric appeared at the edge of the private room. Right on time. He stepped in with the confused confidence of a man expecting romance and walked straight into a firing squad of eyes. Vanessa actually stood up so fast her chair tipped. "Eric," I said, turning to him. "Glad you made it. Since you've been enjoying what's left of my marriage, I figured you should see the rest of it." He looked at Vanessa. Vanessa looked at the floor. And in that 1 second, you could watch his face change as he realized she had lied to him too. Maybe not about everything, but enough. "She told me you were separated," he said. I laughed. came out colder than I intended. That's interesting. She told me she was loyal. Vanessa snapped then. You had no right to ambush me like this. No right, said. You used my money to book hotel rooms. You lied to me in my bed. You made me sit across from you and listen to you talk about trust while planning your next night with him. Don't talk to me about rights. She started crying, but even that felt strategic, late, and useless. Patricia had warned me not to make a scene that could backfire legally. So I didn't scream. I didn't insult her. I just reached into my jacket, took out the divorce papers, and placed them in front of her. You're not getting the house, I said. You're not getting the business. And you're not draining one more cent from me. Sign when your lawyer tells you to. Then I looked at Eric. You should leave. Unless you want to hear how many lies she told you to. He left without a word. Vanessa's family didn't defend her. That was probably the part she never imagined. Her mother was devastated. Her brother looked disgusted. Her father just sat there, staring at the table like something in him had collapsed. The fallout lasted months. Vanessa moved into a furnished apartment across town. Eric dumped her within the week. Apparently, being the exciting secret lost its charm once it became public, messy, and expensive. Her promotion stalled after rumors spread through her office. Not because I called anyone there. I didn't have to. People talk. Especially when someone in corporate events gets exposed for cheating with a hotel executive and using family money to fund it. The divorce was ugly for her and surprisingly clean for me. Because I had prepared. Because I kept records. Because I stayed calm while she assumed I was blind. That was the ruthless part, I guess. Not revenge in the movie sense. Not violence. Not screaming. Just timing. Truth. Paperwork. And the refusal to let someone destroy me quietly. A year later I sold the house. Not because I had to, but because I wanted a place that didn't echo. I bought a smaller one with a workshop out back. I sleep better now. I eat when I'm hungry. I laugh when something's funny. My life is quieter, but it's mine again. Sometimes people ask if exposing her in public was cruel. Maybe it was. But betrayal loves darkness. Grows there. Hides there. Excuses itself there. All I did was turn on the lights. And when I walked out of that restaurant alone, I didn't feel broken. Felt free. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one.
Hey guys, I am the owner of this YouTube channel, and all the content published here is created by me. Every video is original and reflects my own creative work, including the editing, visuals, thumbnails, and overall production. The voiceover is also my own, and I personally manage every aspect of this channel, with my own time, effort, and creativity. Thanks for joining Crunch Stories.